Abolition of the death penalty. The death penalty, also known as capital punishment, is the system that determines if someone should be put to death due to their crimes. Capital punishment dates back to very ancient times and has been a part of our government system for a while. But just because it has been here for a while doesn't mean that it's positive. There are many negative aspects to the death penalty, such as discriminatory practices and its rulings, the overall high cost of the procedure, wrongful accusations or mistakes made during the ruling, and its inability to deter crime nationwide. These issues not only affect the people who are facing this punishment, but also regular citizens of the country as well. Since 1973, it has been shown that 200 people who have been victims of the death penalty were cleared of all wrongful convictions that were given to them, which put them on death row. If the death penalty exists, innocent defendants will be convicted and sentenced to death. The appeal process is unlikely to catch all of the errors. Not only has it been not sufficient in catching these mistakes, it also increases the time spent on the trial. The emotional impacts that the families can feel from mistakes like this happening are irreversible and can leave them with longer-lasting issues in life. Furthermore, the emotional and financial effects that it has on the victims can be extended due to the long length of trials. While Black and Hispanic people make up 31% of the United States population, they make up 53% of death row inmates. The death row population is made up of over 41% of Black people, even though they only make up 13% of the U.S. population. The death penalty has been known to target people with lower socioeconomic backgrounds. This leads to them having greater disadvantages because they have limited access to legal representation as well as limited knowledge or experience in the criminal justice system. The implicit bias and systematic issues that also contribute to the outcome of this case as well. To address these issues, you must take multiple approaches and start to reform many policies and systems, such as new improved training and reforms to the legal representation. Cases that seek the death penalty can be up to 10 more times expensive than cases that do not seek the death penalty. When the death penalty is sought for a case, it includes a more vigorous process involving more witnesses, lawyers, longer jury selections, time overall, and many more aspects. All of these attributions can lead to a single case ranking up extreme cost. A significant number of death penalty cases don't reach the death penalty state, according to Columbia Law School study. 68% of cases tend to be overturned. Even though in cases when the death penalty is not carried out, taxpayers still need to pay the same price, even if the death penalty was acted upon. It is more expensive to house someone who is under capital punishment rather than it is to house them in a regular jail or a higher security place. Removing the death penalty, you can use that extra money as well to build or support systems that can keep these individuals contained rather than using capital punishment. One of the most popular claims that policy users make to keep the death penalty around is deterrence. The view on this topic is very split, while both sides typically ignore the other's claims. Recent studies have shown that the death penalty does not correlate with deterrence to national crime rates. While yes, certain states that have the death penalty have a lower crime rate, it's only a select few states and not enough to show a deterrence at a national level. The late executions for years do not help the fact, as some people can take this as more free time and time spent conviction not in a jail. Additionally, people tend to over-focus on the deterrence of crime and completely look over the important aspects of the justice system, such as finding the root of the problem and providing access to rehabilitation to people. One alternative to death penalty is life without parole. Under any circumstance, people believe the government should not take a life. Killing a life, even as punishment, violates moral principles. Many argue that the state should not kill as punishment. Life without parole offers more humane punishment and aligns with ethical and legal concerns. Life sentences with the possibility of parole can also be offered as solution or alternatives to the death sentence. This alternative still brings a harsh punishment for the crimes committed but still allows possibility for change. The offender will receive decades in prison, and after a certain amount of years they can apply for parole. Parole can be guaranteed, but the case can be guaranteed but the case can be reviewed. This balances accountability while also keeping the belief that people can change. It supports second chances when they are truly deserved while still protecting society. This can be used especially when the crime committed is linked to trauma, mental illness, or addiction. The offender can be sentenced to treatment centers, long-term therapy, and monitored rehabilitation programs. This alternative allows us to treat root causes rather than just removing the person from society. Treating the causes can reduce chances of reoffending and encourages a justice system that focuses on prevention, not only punishment. These alternatives matter because they're cheaper than the death penalty. The death penalty trials are extremely expensive because of long legal procedures. Imprisoning offenders for life is often cheaper than executing them. It also eliminates the risk of executing an innocent person. Even with long legal processes, courts can still make mistakes. With life in prison, if new evidence proves the offender's innocence, then the person can still be released. It protects against irreversible mistakes in the justice system. Protecting against discrimination. Getting rid of execution eliminates punishment that tends to be applied unevenly or biased. People of color or in poverty are often portrayed as more dangerous, and these alternatives counter those assumptions. Deters crime. Life without parole lets prisoners know that they will never leave prison. Knowing that you will lose your freedom forever discourages people from committing severe crimes to avoid such a harsh fate. Life with parole allows for a possibility of getting your freedom back and acknowledging that people can change. It gives the offender a chance to reform and gives them hope, knowing they may be able to return to a normal life. In conclusion, capital punishment is a harmful process not only to those that are being put on trial and undergoing the process, but to other people as well. Not only does it have an emotional impact on the person undergoing this procedure, but their families and any families who are involved in it as well. The capital punishment system is not known for being the best, and it has little to no evidence of it actually deterring crime on a national level. It has negative discriminatory practices and rulings, and the possible irreversible damage directly involved. Not to mention its high financial costs and effects on the average taxpayer as well. Overall, the practice has good concerns for trying to keep the place better, but it raises many unethical concerns as it has been shown to do more damage than good.